No, I think.
Yeah, please check, and because it's going to be deleted after 1 week. So please confirm everyone have received the recorded session, and do not share anyone, because these are the recorded session which made for you, not for the who others were not attending, right? All right, today date is 13/08. Let's have a recap. So what topic we discussed yesterday? We discussed 1 minute. Back. So we discussed yesterday backup and restore topic. So we understood that is a type of backup, right? And what are the type of backup? Those are all full or system state backup, right? Second one is incremental backup, differentiate backup, daily backup, and copy backup, right? Depends on the requirement. And if you're managing for own, we should understand that is in what are these and how do we plan it. Monthly once we discussed yesterday for the system state backup, monthly once, and incremental R differentiate plan for weekly. And what is the difference between of incremental and differentiate? What is the difference between incremental and differentiate backup? Anyone?
I think second week of the
Sorry, what is the second week of? What do you mean by incremental here? Incremental means it's going to take a newly written data. It won't touch for the backed up the data, correct?
yeah.
So whatever return the data, it will take only newly, right? And how this guy knows that is in it is written newly incremental? Because once the data has been backed up, the attribute get changed, right? The attribute get changed. So it will tell that it will understand that these are the data has been already taken, so I won't touch those data, right? Data attribute get changed. So once backup has been taken. So now whatever the newly written the data, those data it would take incremental backup. Okay, and also restoration of method. How many time you have taken the incremental backup? Same things, those many time you have to restore it. The advantage disadvantage of incremental and differentiate. Incremental backup, multiple time you have to restore, and time required for the based on the data size. Same things if you talk about differentiate. What is the definition of this? It will take previous backup as well as current backup, right? It will take a backup previous along with the current. And advantage and disadvantage. Advantage is you can the restoration count, it will be reduced, but the disadvantage data is huge, right? It will take time compared to incremental backup. Incremental backup is lesser time because you need to have a multiple time to restore, because every week you have to plan for the restoration. So this is just for understanding you to, during the interview, this question might ask, do you know the knowledge on backup and restore, how it works? What are the type of the backup? I know that is you will not get work on that is backup completely mechanism or backup process related, but there is as per the current situation, many people are using for the third party vendors as discussed, right? There are specialist backup vendors are there who are the service providing. Those people are TSM, okay, Commvault, Veeam Backup, Semantic, many third party backup vendors are there, and company will be approaching those people and they will be giving end-to-end service and 0% of the losses of the data. But you should also understand that if you do the manual or traditional way, what is the risk of to managing this kind of, and how we need to save our data, emergency case or unexpected situation, data should not be lost. Since you have planned properly, that's what we discussed, we have to plan properly for our backup mechanism, monthly ones, weekly ones, daily ones, and normal copy backup, right? As discussed yesterday, 31st of July, monthly backup has been taken, and August told yesterday the data has crashed, right? Server has crashed, and we have planned for the restoration of the monthly ones 31st, and weekly ones for the 4th incremental backup, and 11th is incremental backup, and remaining days, the 1 days you won't be able to take, you won't be able to having a data because it's still not taken the backup. The 4 p.m. your server was crashed, then you won't be able to having. If you have planned for the every 1 hour copy backup, then it would be having a data. Ultimately, you need to minimize the losses of the data during the situation, during the critical situation. Same things we discussed, how to take a backup, how to install the backup. We also discussed how to install and configure backup. We discussed how to take a backup and how to restore the backup. So we restored yesterday, we deleted the data, right? Deleted the data and we restored the data, right? From the backup after cleaning up from the recycle binary. So till we discussed only for in a data point of view, which is data, right? When we talk about the system state backup, I told that is in we would need for that is in entire operating system, applications, Active Directory, everything would be involved when it is taking a system state backup. So before reaching to the system state backup, we discussed an AD maintenance, right? AD maintenance. What is AD maintenance here? How the Active Directory cleanup process happening, right? So we discussed about here what is recycle binary, AD recycle binary, right? And what is the life cycle of the recycle binary? How many days? By default 180 days, right? And what do you mean by tombstone? It's again we discussed for the life cycle of tombstone. So we can edit, right? We can edit. It depends on requirement. Okay, increase or decrease. Okay, the life cycle of the tombstone. So data object, not data object, AD Active Directory object you deleted from the AD, it won't remove permanently from the AD if you enabled recycle binary, and by default it will go to the tombstone, right? If not enable the recycle binary, your object will be present under the tombstone at least minimum 6 months, right? Then it will be processing for that is in it will move on to after 180 days from the tombstone, it move into the lingering object. This become a lingering object, which is dead object, and this is cleanup activity every 12-hour default every DC as the process called garbage collection process. And during that time, it will clean up lingering object. Which is dead object to get clean up. Okay. And this is automatic process. And you can also do it for the manually. I have provided here garbage collection process. And once it is done here, right? It's always it's keeping that is in keeping in maintenance mode your active directory, right? Maintenance is automatically process happening. Now I don't want to do this recycle binary. Is emergency case you can restore from the directly from the AD. But there is a we're talking about backup. When you took that is in system state backup. System state backup. So your AD of your active directory also has been taken, correct? AD also in backed up. So now everything is gone. Now I don't. There is a the life cycle is already over, expired, right? It is exceed of the days. Now you won't be able to getting the default process. But if you want to restore from the backup, then you have to understand that is in AD backup and restore process. There is we call as a AUTH authoritative, okay, authoritative restore process and non-authoritative. This is again important. This question will ask in interview. Okay, have you worked on the active directory backup and restore? And AD backup is already by default. You have taken the system state backup. When you've taken the system state backup, AD is also already taken the backup, right? But when you come to the restoration of the AD, you must understand there's a two method is one is authoritative restore, second one is non-authoritative restore. And basically, what is the authoritative restore here? So when you use that is can be used now we can do it for the GUI mode and command prompt. And non-authoritative must do for only command prompt, right? Now the actual difference is what is happening here, authoritative restore and non-authoritative restore. Now once you have taken the backup, right? You have taken the backup and restored. During that time, during processing of restoration, if any object you created, any of the domain controller, replications was not happening those recently created, correct? It means you can say recent update. During processing of restoration, if you created some any object which is recent updates, okay, which is you can say replication must happen, right? Must happening here from the entire domain. On that domain, you can say that is in happening in the domain. Non-authoritative restore, as I said, you can use for the only command prompt. So you have already backup taken, and you need to verify. We need to verify if you have taken that is backup. It must be the old backup, right? We need to verify that is in which. Need to verify all the DC domain controller backed up with the, or you can say matched with the recent or the restored DC above one, right? Now always you see this, whenever you are taking a backup and restoring of the backup, especially Active Directory, it must be match with your current state. Otherwise, what's happening, those changes, if it's not replicated, again it will be in a behind that in the current, until unless it should be match with all the domain controller. As you know, each domain, all DCs must replicated, correct? So now one of the DC restored from the backup, right? From the backup, and that DC during that restoration, if any object you created another domain controller, that won't be having update, right? That is recent update, it must be get replicated. And whichever DC restored, make sure it must be up to date of all the replication state, right? We have taken the backup yesterday, system state backup from the domain controller. This machine we have taken the backup. So we'll see that is in how you wanted to restore AD by using authoritative restore. As I said, GUI mode, right? So you can delete that object. You can object delete it and see that is in how you want to restore. But here to use authoritative restore, must be follow DSRM method. What is DSRM method here? Directory service restore mode. Cannot be follow with a normal process, right? When you log into the Active Directory, and if you do the normal process, when you're trying to do the authoritative restore, it won't work. And you remember when you are giving the domain controller installation, there is a password you have given earlier, right? Password we have given for DSRM, and this password must be used during this Active Directory maintenance activity. And it's a kind of AD maintenance. You must be press F8, reboot the machine, press F8, and you might have seen that there is a C4 safe mode console, right? Safe mode console, last one good configuration. Have you seen that is in those console? It would be one of the options called as a DSRM. You have to select. You have the multiple options inside. Okay, safe mode, last known good configuration, right? And list out are there, and you need to select for DSRM method. So it will go to the safe mode. Okay, it will move to the safe mode. Then here you need to log in with /, which is local administrator username. So take this. With administrator, and password would be DSRM. This is a normal method which we do earlier, but now from the 2016 onwards can be done in GUI, which is we can select this data service mode in a, like, you can go to that is in MS config using MS config. This is also ask question interview. When you click on the boot, and you can see the boot option, safe mode, the options called as a Active Directory repair. If you select, automatically you no need to press F8 here. If you chosen this way, then your machine will be automatically in a Active Directory repair mode. This is another way you can also select it. You can select for the using MS config, select the boot. Just for the reference purpose, you must also know this options can be selected. Select the boot, then select for Active Directory AD repair mode, right? So you can use it like that. You can see how you wanted to be do this for the restoration authoritative restore. Let's see that yesterday backup has been successful or not. Then we can talk about yesterday. We have stopped this, right? So before I'm moving to anyone has any question? We were taking the backup. It was taking a long time, so we stopped the class, right? We'll do that. Anyone has any question? But little more you need to go through this. Okay, so you have to do some little time to spend for the going through all this process, everything. Now you are ready to give an interview on Active Directory Windows Server, right? So we can you can also have some lot of confidence to understand and explain to the people how it works overall from the 3.6, right? Almost is going to complete 2 months. Let's see. So let's go and check it for your backup state. Yesterday what we have discussed. Go to the backup, Windows Server backup. Cholo, you're back normal from your vacation?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
No. I'm still there.
Sorry?
No, I'm still there. I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
still
good,
there.
good. Yeah, good. All right. Just see that we have taken the backup in